This has to be the Hopium chart of the year. A picture-perfect inverse head and shoulders, breakout and a perfect retest on the dollar, with a pattern target measured as the height of the pattern from the breakout point 300,000. And people saying that a head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulder can only be a reversal pattern and not a continuation pattern as in this case, are wrong. So there's that. If we now switch from weekly candles down to 6 hour, let's study another inverse head and shoulders on much shorter time frames. You see it here, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And neckline here at 83,700. Larsson, it has broken down already, but is it invalidated? No. Should it break below this level at 79,980? Well, then that's pretty bad. So far it hasn't. I don't know what's gonna happen here, guys, and neither does anyone else. But I think we have two sources of clues. To recap, I thought we would break this range on the upside. We didn't. Instead, we broke it on the downside, Larsson line flipped blue, and sure enough, down we went. We trade the chart and not our emotion. Target from a range breakdown, according to classical charting, is the height of the range, which gave us this target that price hit exactly, also on the pixel. Now we regroup and look for new setups. I did take a long here based on this setup, but Larsson line is blue, that means I'm defensive, so I will have absolutely zero tolerance for a drawdown. Nothing. It's just a small gamble. Instead, the higher time frame confirmation I want to see is that we break back up into this range, Larsson line turning gold again, and then a glorious breakout, and this time on the upside. But will we get it? People on social media have looked for clues in this mystery whale. Guys, there's no clues there, you're being played. So what this guy or someone else like him does is that they open a public short on Hyperliquid using all available margin, while at the same time he opens a much bigger long on an exchange, which you can't see on the blockchain. Then some cheerleading, let's liquidate the 40x short whale at 86,000. The tried and tested narrative from the GameStop short squeeze, if you remember, where it was an actual whale hedge fund. And everyone's falling for it. Hyperliquid opened doors to democratized crypto whale hunting. Then this guy goes in public like, oh, I'm liquidated. Or he moves up the position, or he just closes it. And when he feels the whale hunting is exhausted, maybe he flips short on the exchange position too, or just closes it. Also, there is a huge misunderstanding here. People saying it's a $500 million short, but that's the position. He has not put in $500 million. If it's a 40x short, he has put in 511 divided by 40. Which is 12 million. There are trades like that on exchanges every hour, guys. You have to be more aware of the game being played. I'm not saying you specifically, you probably are, but people in general. So with that spirit, I will read an old thread from Zach XPT. All this is alleged. I have not fact-checked it, but Zach is probably the most trusted person in this whole industry, so I feel that it's worth reading. And it's from 2022, examining how Ash has misled thousands of people to build up an 8-figure crypto portfolio. Our story begins with Ash's Telegram group. Well, what's wrong with the Telegram group? Pumping and dumping low caps on centralized exchanges, inside their paid group to receive picks before the main TG channel. All messages of pumping and dumping have been deleted, but I've recovered a few instances, where the chart basically becomes like this, up and then down. He claimed it wasn't intentional and yada yada. Here's a breakdown of the paid group. In the public group, this guy will market a paid private group to its members, blatantly saying they will get buy signals and insider info before the main public channel. I've attached the payment address courtesy a former member. So here you could buy an insider group, donation address, and then a buy signal was made to the paid group to buy this coin. And guess what? The address in the photo above was making large buys a few days prior. And then the paid group is told that it will be shilled shortly to the public group. Here are some screenshots you can read yourself. And then in the premium group it looks like this. We will tell you the whole plan, we will share it in big channels and multiple waves will come in, a lot of influencers will make YouTube videos on it, blah blah blah. And then a lot of transfers, and then what happens? As of now, all is going well and it gets posted in the public group. The public group, Gemcoin, market cap now is 12 million, we expect to go to 50 million. Available here on Uniswap and BitHub. Buy slowly and hold it for weeks, reach 5-10x target. Buy it and hold. We will soon share the plan of its growth. Then immediately after, Ash says in the paid group who the F is selling. Because suddenly price goes down. Who the F is selling this? Angry face, angry face, angry face. This is why we don't tell you guys before. Some of you up the pump as well. So who the F is selling? And here is why we love Zach. Hint. It's the address from above, sending it to a different wallet to sell. The deposit address from the guy used to collect the membership fees, the same address that bought way before it started pumping in the premium group and then in the public group. That's the address that is selling. I'm glad all these weak hands and fuckheads are getting out now. We have huge plans for this, blah blah blah. Don't sell Roya in panic, instead buy some if you missed buying at lower prices and transactions. And you can read for yourself. What happened was that in the end they dropped 99%, 97%, 99%, 94%. And this is with pretty big size, guys. And you can read the rest of this yourself. So this guy has 1.7 million followers. I have a tenth of that for comparison. Maybe this guy has changed, maybe not all of it was correct. If you have any issue with it or corrections, go back to the Zach XBT post. I'm just reading it off the internet. The point here isn't to pick on this guy. The point is to make you aware that these games are being played every single day. If not by him, it's by someone else. You must stop listening to all this drivel. You have to make your own analysis. You have to think for yourself, or you will get slaughtered by guys like this. So forget about that so-called whale doing a bit of manipulation. It's a distraction. It doesn't matter. What will matter here for Bitcoin, whether this turns into a bottom or it's truly a much deeper drawdown, I think, is two things. Number one is if stocks will bounce here. And so far it looks like they might. The S&P 500 or the mini futures hit exactly the obvious support level in this chart and did indeed bounce, even though it's retracing after turning here at the clear resistance. So far it is US stocks that has had this clear correlation with Bitcoin price, while other stocks have followed a completely different trajectory. Here is China E50, recently flipped gold on Larsson line, Shenzhen also flipped gold, Hong Kong, beautiful chart, up only. And if we look at the car maker BYD, this chart looks fantastic. This is a textbook rectangle. Look how nice it is. Larsson line gold and breakout on the upside, retest on the dollar and continuation. Charts don't get prettier than this, guys. And if looking at the same chart in its native currency, Chinese yuan, it's even nicer. Look at this inverse head and shoulder here. Larsson line gold flip and pattern confirmation in the same candle. Retest on the yuan and up we went. So this gave a slightly earlier entry than the converted dollar-based stock. So anyone saying that technical analysis doesn't work, well, look at this, guys. And these are not small companies, this is massive. The pure scale of this is just mind-blowing. Another massive Chinese company, Alibaba. Look at another inverse head and shoulders, perfect horizontal neckline, and confirmation breakout with Larsson line gold. Tencent, remember this parabola that broke back in, when was it, 2021? Larsson line blue, and it did indeed go much deeper. From the parabola break it went another minus 60%. But then it built this beautiful ascending triangle, which confirmed with Larsson line gold, retested a little bit deep, but quickly reversed and up it went. So many of the Chinese stocks look fantastic here, which is a sharp contrast to some of the previously most loved American stocks like Tesla. Tesla made this massive move up from this multi-year range from 2013 that lasted all the way to 2019. Then it finally broke out from the breakout point. It made 2000% gain in just 2 years. But if looking at it now, it's a pretty sad story. Price right now is the same as it was, 4.5 years ago. And while it had this breakout from this ascending triangle of sorts, with large line gold, it then started forming this channel, which in the beginning looked like a flag, but then turned into a channel that broke on the downside. And look, now it has retraced the entire breakout pump. From this high until today, it's down minus 53%. A shocking development for many. So what is going on with Tesla? Do I believe in it or not? Am I pro or against Elon Musk? I would have liked to see another business model than selling physical products in competition with Chinese companies. Because that is a difficult business model. I've been there. You're gonna get pressed. I would have liked to lean heavier into Elon Musk's ventures with business models not relying on selling a physical product like AI or X or something in space or self-driving services. I'm not sure I understand why he is so hated by many. Look, one guy has done internet payments. The youngsters here won't understand the world before PayPal. You couldn't build a global internet business as a small guy before PayPal. It was a massive disruption of the banks. Then he made electric cars cool. There was nothing before Tesla, guys. We identified it here. Everyone I knew was starting to buy Teslas. It was the cool thing to do. While the market seemed to think they were going bankrupt, and I looked out like, it looks like they are selling cars. Then Starlink, which brought connectivity to the whole world. The only reasonable competing technology in like 30 years to the one we built, which has some limitations because of the curvature of the Earth. Even if you put a very high tower, you can only send it that far. Neuralink, a paralyzed person can steer a computer with his brain. Boring Company, which by the way is a very funny name. Greener, more efficient transport. Reusable rockets. If you take all of Earth's rocket launches, SpaceX has 90% market share, China does about 5%, and the rest of the world, including Boeing, Lockheed, Northrop, does 5%. And this didn't happen overnight. The perseverance here, guys, makes a starship that makes it realistic for humanity to become an interplanetary species. It buys X so that people can share their opinions without being censored, buying it way above market price, which is not to be taken for granted. This man was just sentenced to 10 months in prison for making factually correct statements. I share this. I honestly don't get it. Can someone explain to me why they hate Elon Musk so much? Elon Musk's controversial ideas. Multi-trillion-dollar deficit is bad. We should consider trying to end wars instead of funding forever wars. People should be allowed to speak freely without censorship. We should have clean air and safe roads. We should go to Mars. And from what I can understand, now he's working for free for his country, sleeping in the office on the floor, trying his best to reduce government spending. Isn't that a good thing? Honestly, I don't get it. And it's not just Republicans versus Democrats in the US. Most of European media is full of negative articles about him, trying to pick on something clearly not intended like that. People tend to hate on success in general. Maybe that's it. But looking at his track record, he has achieved more than any entrepreneur alive today. And he has built up asset valuation as a result. So back to the question. Someone who has done like 10 impossible things already has incredible odds to do the 11th thing too. I just wish I could invest in another one of his ventures. Or I want to see Tesla turning around their revenue to not come primarily from sales of physical products, but from AI and services in some way. The self-driving fleet could be one of those. If they can show that their AI is better and has fewer accidents, that would be a way to capitalize on their advantage. Or if Optimus-type robots, where the AI clearly matters more than anything. But these feel quite far away today. And look at Grok. Amazing achievement in short time. So that's what I want to invest in. But today, most of the revenue comes from car sales. This number versus energy generation and services and other revenue. But what about all this hatred? People burning Teslas and so on. Is that what's gonna kill the sales and ultimately drive the company under? No. I don't think so. I think in fact it could have the exact opposite effect. Here someone set up a website exposing Tesla owners' personal info, like name and addresses on a map, and using a Molotov cocktail cursor. This feels very close to what the actual Nazis were doing. If you don't adhere to the correct ideology, violent people will come to your home. I think very few people agree with this. In fact, I think the vast majority of people feel the opposite, that this is deeply wrong and deeply unfair, and they might go and buy a Tesla because of it. Personally, I never felt that Tesla is the best car from a car quality perspective. I feel that the best German cars have a higher quality feel, like the sound when you're closing the door or something. So I personally haven't felt inclined to buy a Tesla before. Now I'm thinking about it. Bottom line, I will trade this. I think there is possibility of huge upside, but I don't think it's given in the same way as it was before down here, because of their business model is still mostly physical products in increasing competition, which is different from when everyone was buying a Tesla while the market thinks they're going bankrupt. But if they can swing this around to more AI-based service revenue, I'll be all in. The second thing that will matter is Saylor. If Michael Saylor pulls off the full extent of his gigantic $21 plus $21 billion buy, the one that was announced in October 2024, $21 billion at the market equity offering, plus $21 billion of fixed income securities. And they detailed this preferred stock program now in March. But these $42 billion of capital will be raised over the next 3 years. That's until 2027. So we don't know when the next big Bitcoin purchases will come. But this is a real whale that actually move the market. Now Saylor is coming out even more aggressive with preferred stocks that will give dividends at a fixed rate of 10% per year. So he's going more aggressive. He has to get in some money here because he really can't start selling Bitcoin. Of course, this is a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If he can raise $40 billion and buy Bitcoin with that, price will go up. And he will make money. If Saylor can't raise any more money and Bitcoin starts going down, well, that would be pretty bad. But Larsson, why does it matter? 40 billion is nothing compared to the 1.65 trillion market cap of Bitcoin, 1,650 billion market cap. Why does 40 billion here even matter? That's because market cap isn't the money that has been put in. There is a factor, here probably around 50. So if you put in 40 billion, the sell volume will start thinning out. Market cap is simply the last price paid times the circulating supply. So if you put in 40 billion, the sell volume will start thinning out. And in the end, market cap will go up 40 billion times 50 or 2,000 billion, 2 trillion, which is a lot compared to the market cap of Bitcoin. So if he can pull this off, 40 billion fresh money is a lot. Some of it has already been deployed in late 2024, early 2025, but that's maybe 10-15% of it. The vast majority has not been deployed yet. We'll talk about 4 more things today. Solana, ETH, Gold, BNB. But first, there are a lot of impersonators now, guys. Please don't get scammed. If I contact you about some amazing investment opportunity, it's not me. On any platform, X, Discord, Instagram, Facebook, SMS, Carrier Pigeon, check the letters and you'll find that the username is in fact not CTO Larsson. I have only one offering and it's on ctolarsson.com. I only provide education and analytics tools. Someone suggesting you something else, it's a scam. Press here for course and indicator, press here for Larsson 9 Pro. Solana has had a rough time, cannot quite hold up this support, and this breakdown on the SOL to BTC chart hasn't shown any signs of recovery yet. I don't know if Solana took a hit from this criticized ad.
So America, what's going on?
I guess the criticism was that it wasn't inclusive.
I want to invent technologies, not genders.
Lovely.
But if this guy is America, I mean Donald Trump actually said that.
You're fired.
Anyway, probably wasn't the smartest video to make. Ethereum continues its fine tradition of down only. Instead of guessing every single time here that this is the bottom, personally I'm gonna wait for some confirmation that that's actually the case. Of course it could be the bottom, but that would be just a guess. And I'm not much into guessing. BNB on the other hand is interesting here. The BNB to BTC chart is painting an inverse head and shoulder here, which would confirm upon breakup above 0.0076 approximately, which if it happens will coincide with the Larsson gold flip on the BNB to BTC chart. Everyone has forgotten about the Binance Smart Chain in the wake of the Solana success earlier this year, but look here on DeFi Llama. After the meme coin casino collapse, Solana has actually dropped to position number 3. Ethereum is number 2, and which one is on number 1 with plus 38% growth? It is Binance Smart Chain. BSC volume has also dropped. In January it was 78 billion, February 84 billion, and so far in March until March 19, with more than half of the month gone, it's only 28 billion. But relatively, it has dropped less. In January, the Solana volume was 258 billion. In February, it was 105, and with a bit more than half of the month gone in March, it's only 36. Binance has had a lot of momentum, with UAE investing $2 billion in Binance, and they actually launched a very interesting product update called Alpha 2.0, which allows the centralized exchange users to buy any DEX token directly from the exchange, no withdrawals needed. So I think it's too early to rule out Binance just yet. Coinbase is also launching similar initiatives with something called verified pools. Verified pools is a curated selection of liquidity pools, and they're of course building on Base and integrating with Uniswap, which I think can be effective to further cut out the Ethereum Layer 1 main chain, to get people to stay within the Coinbase and Base ecosystem only. The next massive update, gold. Wow! Do you agree now that gold isn't boring? The breakout from this multi-year resistance with Larsson gold was one of the best risk rewards of that entire season in my opinion. And even with just a 3x leverage there, which meant that you could tolerate breakdown all the way below this, with price action plus 50% from there, that means that you have now made 2.5 times the money. Or in other words, you're up plus 150%. With no pullback, no drawdown at all. Hope you didn't miss that we added the Commodities Pro portfolio in Larsson Pro. Great for diversification at times like this. If you look very carefully at the price action now, the invalidation of an inverse head and shoulder happens if the level of the right shoulder is breached. The invalidation is not if the neckline is breached. So this is the downside risk of an inverse head and shoulder. In this case, about 5% of your position. Never go all in with your entire capital. You have to understand the concept of position sizing and diversification. So from current price levels, price can tolerate another 4% drawdown before this pattern would be invalidated. Of course, if you entered nearer the pattern breakdown target, you of course have more leeway before you would need to cut this as a losing trade. Thank you, tack. CTO Larsson out.